It's a little cold here in Huntsville today, but after I saw a video today, it's about time that we actually do stand up for America right now. We've heard in the press the last couple of days that we have to make a stand. We have to pick a side when it comes to Palestine and Israel, Gaza, Hamas versus Israel, Israel versus the government of Israel versus Hamas. I know where I stand for, but I will not stand for them to develop a plan before all this stuff happened, and then when they decided to go in and bomb Gaza, that they've got a plan already set in motion to get rid of all of them, first in Egypt, or then push them up to the Mediterranean countries, Greece and those areas, Spain, eventually into Europe, and then into Canada and the United States. We don't want them. And we're not going to, because it's your problem, Israel, you want to give it to us to deal with it? No, thank you. I'm America first. I'm not Israel first. And do I know what's going to happen here? Of course I know what's going to happen. The Uniparty is going to allow this to happen. We're going to have 1 million people from that area that will never assimilate to Western values at all. You might have 2 or 3 of them that might do it. I have no issue with the Palestinians or those who support the Palestinians marching in the streets, going to campuses and marching, as long as they don't incite violence. I have no issue with that. That's what we're here for. That's why we're America. That's why we're different. However, we're already having a huge demographic change for what's happening in the southern border. And then you're going to allow people that will not conform to Western values to have their own sense of values, and they will continually support groups that will put Americans in harm's way. We can't allow this to happen. We are not Israel's bitch, and we're being played again with them. This has nothing to do with Jewish people. When people get upset and say, oh, you're anti-Semitic, I have the problem is against the Israeli government, the Zionists that run the government. They're so far right wing. This was a government that almost got toppled 6 months ago. Netanyahu was on his way fucking out, and then this shit happened. And we know other reports about he let the border be wide open to allow this to happen. This is something they were planning all along. Once they had the ability, they were going to do it and just get rid of the people that don't think like them, that they pushed the people that they already had land there, and you decide because 1,000 years ago you were there, people that look like you were there. You're all the fucking same. You're all Semites. All of you walked across that land 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. This is how people did it. They had to walk everywhere they went. They had to go to the water to get this. They had to go to the rivers to get shit. They walked the same fucking areas that you all did. Nobody can really have any claim to this. Just because it says Israel in the Bible, okay, what does that mean? Because you're the chosen people? Doesn't mean you have the right now to do what you're doing and then force it on Western cultures because you don't want to deal with them. And this idea in this country, when you say something like this, that I'm being anti-Semitic, or if I say there's too much influence in this country by that type of those lobbyists, the ADL, SPLC, AIPAC, people in Congress who have passports to Israel, that's anti-Semitic. There's laws on the book about this. They should be clearly ruled unconstitutional, and why somebody has not taken that to the Supreme Court and got that off the books, because it's unconstitutional. Unless you're going to change the Constitution and my freedom of speech, I can say pretty much everything without saying anything about violence, about killing people. And I have a different belief systems because the people that run Israel are not our friends. And they're pulling the shit again, and they're sitting in their back room and they're just laughing about it. Now, obviously this got leaked. Now, did it get leaked because they want to see how the rest of the world was going to act to it? Because it says in their thing, we don't want this to get out to the media. But somebody, either a whistleblower or somebody that just saying, let's put it out there and see how the West people actually talk about it. There are a lot of people in this country ain't going to give a shit about it, because long as they don't come by me, as long as they don't come by me, they're going to say, fine, bring them in this country. People are not going to say shit. It's in their fucking, right there in front of their door. and you're having to deal with that all the day. And these people will come here with their own culture. They will not assimilate. They will believe that everything that's said in the Quran has to be true. They will have affinity for anybody that's a freedom fighter, and they'll place us in the same strata that they have Israelis. They will say that we're the problem because we've been tied to Israel since the formation of Israel, and everything that happens since then. And we continually say that we'll always be on their side until we go to die. We're going to be there with Israel. So everybody knows in the world that that's us. So why would you bring people here that hates the Israeli government, and they know that the Israeli government basically runs the United States, and you're going to bring 1 million people here, and then we're going to have to deal with that with our debt being as, I mean, we're on the brink of being destroyed as a country. And there's so much that comes from this. The demographic change has already happened in this country, and that's fine. If you want this country to be fundamentally different than what it was supposed to be, that's fine. Enjoy being like that, being a third world country, because that's where we'll be. But somebody has to stand up and talk about this. There are too many people that are so worried about saying shit that we call you xenophobic or racist or anything like that. That's bullshit. I'm America first. These people should not come here. We can give them aid. We can do all this other shit. I don't want them to go to Western Europe either. They shouldn't go. The Muslim countries should do something about this. Or we should have a two-state solution in Israel. They need to man up and do what they're supposed to do, not just give their problems onto us, the rest of the world. I'm trying to be as humanity as I can here, because I was always on the side that the Palestinians should have an open state. They could do whatever they want to do with, and they should have most of their land back. But we don't want to have that here. We have no claim to any of that. That's something that's been going on since modern man walked. You know, there's possibility of lost civilizations, but the last 15 or let's say 11,000 years, these guys have been walking across each other all that time, other than the white Western Jews that end up going to Israel to say, oh, this is where I came from. But the rest of the people there that are ethnic Jews, they're basically the same as the Arabs that are right across the street. They just believe a different God, and they now hate each other. And you see the videos that they sit there and spit on each other and hate each other, and we have to fix that. We have to fix that, because they're not human enough that they can't do it themselves. Somebody has to stand up about this. Israel should not run our government policy. And if we don't have somebody that's actually running in this country that says we're not going to do it, Trump can't do this. He'll probably say it's fine. It looks like Vivek is going to be the same way too. Somebody got to him. All of a sudden he's saying that Israel could do anything to Gaza. Dude, we got to fucking wake up in this country, because we cannot bankroll. We cannot do everything. We can't fix everything, because when we get involved, it's like when the government gets involved, it makes it worse. Stand up. Talk to your Congress people. Tell them we are not going to take any more refugees in this country. They started this stuff. They made that a war. They need to deal with it, not us. We can give them money. We're always going to give them money. This is what we fucking do. We give them money so we don't have to deal with this shit. We give everybody all this money so they don't come here. And guess what? They're still fucking coming here. And it's going to change the fundamental structure of this country. And the thing is, there are way, way too many people in this country that don't understand that. They're just going to be they're in the phones all the time. They don't understand what's happening. There's so many movies that talk about it. And the whole world should be no borders, and we should do this shit, until it's in your fucking neighborhood and you have to deal with the 4 or 5 calling to Allah every day and worry about what they're going to do with the pig on the backside, or what it says in their book. And then they'll look at us as we're like Israelis as well. I've heard this the other day. Somebody said the other day, Israelis are basically white people. I'm just like, what? Ask an Israeli if they think you're white. Again, there are Western Jews that look white. they braid with Westerners, so they look white. But you get an actual ethnic Jew and you put it right next to an Arab. You tell me the difference, other than what they wear. These are all Semites. Their ancestors walked this area for thousands and thousands of years, never had a full thing and said, this is mine, this is yours, whatever. And then humans came along that wrote it down and shit and said, this is Palestine and this stuff like that. And then we allowed Israel to come back, and that they had to have more and more. They have to take everything. And then they claim that Hamas and all this shit they're killing babies all the time. Well, how many people have, as the Israelis, killed people? I mean, you want to talk about atrocities on both sides? But at the end of the day, as an America First person, we don't need them here. We have to take care of what we have now. We need to shut down the border. And when these people are here, I can't stop them because they're here. But when they make one mistake, I don't care if it's a misdemeanor. When they get something that goes on, we don't have to go in and find them in their houses. But if they go in a shoplift, or they have a traffic violation because they don't have a driver's license, they get deported. I hate being an asshole about this, but it's about fucking time that somebody said Americans first. It's not a bad word just because everybody on the left think that that's somehow Nazis. Dudes, you just do not understand what's going to happen if we don't finally do something about it, the people of our own country that are actually here and they're citizens of this country. It's going to be unbelievably bad, and people are just go ahead, put your fucking face in the phone and realize that, oh, it won't matter. Just watch the movie WALL-E. Get all fat. We're all fat anyway, and we're going to be just dumb like sheep. Meanwhile, they're going to do all this stuff. And the next thing you look up, there's going to be nobody here that's American. If that's what you want, that's fine. You think, oh, then I'll just go to Canada. Canada will no longer be Canada in about 20, 30 years. Because they will take in probably 500,000 just because, they're Canadians. They got like 5 people in their country. They will fundamentally different country in 20 or 30 years. Sweden the same way. All this shit is happening, and there are people that are sounding the horn, but it's probably going to be too late. We're already seeing the marching in England about this thing. London is not a British city anymore. That's the capital of England. It's not. This is what we're going to see all over England and all over Europe, and it's going to come fucking here. Dearmore is no longer an American city. It's whatever you want to call it. It's not. And this is what's going to happen if you continually because they will continually come here. If we get another 1 million of those, and the rest of the people coming off the border that they're not always just Mexican, they're from other parts of the world, they will breed out everybody. And they will have the power of the vote during that. And it'll be fundamentally changed. Now, again, if you think that's good, fine. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be watching my channel. That's just stupidity. The reason why the United States is where it had been is because we were the ones, the first republic, and the one that had free speech, the only one left in the world, somewhat. Once we fall, that's it for everybody. We're all going to be part of a caste system. You have the elites, and the rest of us are going to be going for scraps. We'll still be the same thing. We'll just get all this consumer shit. We'll have a nice iPad, a new phone. We'll have all that shit, and that'll pacify us. Meanwhile, they'll be in the back room just doing this shit. We got everything, this shit like that. I don't care. That's not anti-Semitic. You don't have to be a Jew to do the same shit. I'm tired of this shit. I'm fucking tired of it. And I knew it was coming, and I just waited for it, and eventually it's out. And the idea that you think that this was not already planned beforehand, of course it was. This whole thing has probably been planned at some point to expel the Palestinians, push it to Europe, push it to the United States, push it to Canada, and then they can have this great little place that's just there. And the rest of the time, we're still fucking funding these motherfuckers. Okay, I'm done right now. Just go down the rabbit hole with me. It's not a hard way to go down the rabbit hole. It's right there. Go watch Paul Josephs Watson's. We can sit there and say what happened on October 7th was tragic, atrocities, all that shit. It's 100% true. But the idea that you don't think that they're going to get something from this, that they're going to make it go on their way, they wanted this. They've always wanted this. We should not have to bail out them, and then when they make the mistake of doing what they're doing right now, that we have to take care of it. We've been doing this for way too long for Israel. It's time to stop. You guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.